And we are live. Hey everyone. I'll just wait a couple of minutes. Get my glasses on. Clean my glasses. I'm at a Trader Joe parking lot. Anybody need anything? Okay. I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes. I have something to say about Letecia. Love notes for TLC YouTube page. Girl, you are out of control. Absolutely out of control. Um, and I've already left a message with the chief of police in your town of Hot Springs, Arkansas. If I don't hear back in an hour, I'm going to keep calling. This girl, woman, child, her behavior is escalating the closer she's getting to her due date. Yesterday, I put in my community page that she is referring to mass shootings when she speaks about the alleged father. Hey, let it go. When she finds out her bond has been revoked, I think she will run. Has it been revoked already? I haven't followed up with what's going on with her, in the past week or two because I've just been so busy. Yeah, Lollipop, she is. And last night I came across her video yesterday where she's, referring to God and how he forgives people. And she says something like to the fact of, for example, she says mass shootings and smiles. Um, I will just posted it on the community page. Her bond has been revoked, so that means she's going to get arrested, correct? Because I just left a message with the chief of police, um, and kind of just gave a little synopsis of, her today referring to one of the judges in their courthouse, in her anger toward him. And between that and yesterday and her idea of mass shootings and getting forgiveness from God, that she's not worried about it because God will forgive. She is, I gotta put new Bluetooth in. She's definitely dangerous. And I've had it with this chick. I can't believe YouTube even allows these videos up. She's mentioning violent acts. And there's friggin' YouTube not doing anything. Nothing. I'm concerned for the baby. Well, my wish is that she has the baby while in jail. They'll take her to the hospital. She'll be in labor as she's handcuffed to a birthing bed. So that is my hope, because then let me just put my Bluetooth in. Then that baby will be protected. Uh, Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Can you still hear me? All right. Can you hear me? Just press the 1. Okay. Hold on. No. Can you hear me now? I disconnected my Bluetooth. So if you can hear me, just press the 1. I might have to start over. All right, can you guys hear me now? Yes? Okay, good. Sorry about that. My Bluetooth, as soon as I went live, Bluetooth low. And the other, it's the The other Bluetooth earbud's not connecting, so I'm out of. Lots of background noise. Is this better? Hi, Brent Michelle. Any better? I turned the AC down, windows up. Okay. Let it go. Let me know if the background noise better. Okay. Okay. So that's good to hear that her bond has been revoked. I'm sure Jason Wallace is hooked into her YouTube page. And the fact that she has we call it a stay away order here. If you're not blood related, it's not a restraining order, it's a stay away order. Basically, it's the same thing, but it's just not blood related. So she needs to be off the streets, period. If you notice, the closer she is to her due date, she is, her behaviors are exasperating, like big time. And yesterday, when I heard her mention that violent act of mass, I don't even like saying it, and knowing that God will forgive for that she has nothing to lose because God will forgive her. Hey, Robbie, how are you? Much love back. I was watching a little bit of a trial today as I was driving. This kid, I forget the name of it. This guy got sentenced because his girlfriend, it was a lot of online abuse. And this guy was into having sex, but on a dangerous level. But anyway, to make a long story short, and unfortunately, he's only getting 2 years, time served and all that. He's out in a couple of months. But the judge, it was in Tennessee, and the judge mentioned that for the victim's family, for them to move on and to heal, is he advised them to advocate and to present in front of legislative offices to address online bullying and harassment. His girlfriend, they had a gun, and he told her it wasn't loaded or something, and they were engaging in dangerous, risky behaviors. She ended up shooting herself and dying. But there was a lot of talk about the manipulation she received, the online harassment, bullying. And this judge is so, for legislative to come down harder on people who bully others, make wrongful accusations, harass them. Say, Robbie, I can speak of Mummy Ramblings and the wrongful accusation she made to you, Hello Starlight, accusing people of horrific things and not understanding the repercussions that she's creating for other people, with their mental health. And I know, going through a smear campaign, what that did to me too. So I'm gonna post this video on my community page later on and timestamp where to listen to this judge, how he talks about online bullying. Not just with children, he said, with adults as well. So, and how people are just too comfortable in their YouTube channel, some creators, and they just think they run the place, and then they can act like this and at the harm of hurting other people's mental health and possibly, people say, well, it could be the last straw, and what if that person harms themselves and they die? And then you got people saying, nobody can make anybody, take their life. Oh, yes, they can. They can. If someone is depressed, that one last thing to push them over the edge. And if you're the one that is harassing them, the courts are aware of this. This case I watched today is another case of online activity And this guy is being held accountable for his behaviors, his bullying, his harassment, his intimidation against this girl who happened to end up being his girlfriend. So it was an interesting case. I see you, Dory. So, so hopefully, and this is what I love about social media. This is the positive sides of social media that I absolutely love. When a community comes together for the greater good and does the right thing, it becomes a very powerful tool, you know, like with Letecia Collins, that people will, even if you don't like somebody, when it comes to doing what is right, even enemies pull together to do the right thing, because the public deserves to be kept safe away from people like Letecia. And she needs mental health treatment. Are you saying we're normal? Yes, Tonda. We're actually, there are times when we pull together and we are normal. Isn't it amazing? Right? So I appreciate that in so many people who do that and come together and, you know, do what is right out of concern for the public. She's so unhinged, let it go. Oh my God. I couldn't sleep last night. I was like tossing and turning. You know, and I'm like, did I hear that wrong? Like, let me sleep on it. Let me wake up and go from there. And I did. And I actually left a message with the chief of police about 30 minutes ago. So I just can't imagine. Can you imagine turning the news on and finding out there was something horrible that happened in Hot Springs, Arkansas from this unhinged pregnant woman? This is what our world has, this is what our country has turned into lately with these acts of violence. And Letecia is seeking attention. And is that not one of the factors why these people do what they do? To draw attention to them. Because we often wonder, well, why do they do this? Why do they go into schools? And why do they, you know, where it makes worldwide news? Because that is the attention that they are seeking. Because her YouTube channel isn't satisfying her enough. So what happens is they escalate, you know, and people get desensitized after a while. Yeah, there's Letecia talking about the same crap. Yep. You know, she's not making a difference. Her situation is not changing despite her narrative. So now she's obviously taking it to a higher level of threats of harming people in mass amounts. Exactly, let it go. And she's using God as an scapegoat, that God will forgive her, and that God's the only one that understands her, so why not? She's looking forward to it because she says she knows she'll be forgiven. It's just, hey, Jackie. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'll have to check out Original Owl. Do we know when her bond was revoked? Obviously, it must just have happened because she made a video today. I forget what time she made it at. But for anyone who's concerned about her baby, trust me, she's having that baby in jail, okay? That baby will be fine. She'll be brought to the hospital. She will not give birth in jail. She'll be handcuffed. I've taken care of patients from jail or prison. They are handcuffed and they have a correctional officer outside the door 24/7. So that baby will be okay. Is this the lady that killed her stepson? No, Tonda. This is love notes for TLC. A pregnant homeless woman who recently moved back with her mother. She had a warrant out for her arrest. She finally was arrested. They found her. She went in front of the judge. She had provisions for bond, like rules to go by, and also the alleged father, we don't even know who the father is to her baby, obtained a stay-away restraining order against her, I believe, in the past month or two, or maybe longer. They need to pick her up now. It's very disturbing. YouTube strikes people's channels for lesser things, for less than what Letecia says and does. It blows my mind. So at that point, screw YouTube. You know in your gut, if you're feeling something's really wrong, you say something, okay, and you call the police. Even if it turns out to be nothing, you let somebody know. And you don't have to be a mandated reporter to call, okay? As a concerned citizen, anybody can call the police. I just happen to be a mandated reporter, so I have to. Because if something were to happen and they find out I was aware of it, you know, that comes down on me. Oh yeah, Tonda, the police are aware of her. Yes, very much so. But people have called the police on her before when she's had suicidal ideations, or threatening to harm others. And they've approached her, because that was another call I made, as so many other people, a month or so ago. And unfortunately, when they approached her, she was acting normal. You have to ask, do you feel like you're going to harm yourself or others? She says no. She's acting rational, so they can't do anything. If they saw her out of control, if she was like, yes, I don't want to live, they could section her. But she's very manipulative. But now that there's a restraining order on paper against her, it's reason to revoke her bond. That's part of her bond. And that she cannot talk about him through any means of communication, that also of the internet. So that just shows how out of control she is, that she can't even refrain. And she's angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier. And she's due, what, September 4th? The police already look bad. You'd think they would do something. Well, now that she's obviously has violated the restraining order, they have to do something. They have to. And I'm probably going to say that JW, I shouldn't even be saying his name, dropped the dime on her. She showed his picture yesterday. She showed his LinkedIn. She doxed him completely doxed him with what he does, his career. She broke that when she made that video about him yesterday. Yeah. Oh, she's been smoking weed on camera for a long time. That's another YouTube terms of service violation. YouTube didn't do a thing. And it's the algorithm. So it's like a gamble when you report people. The only thing that a human will look at, aside from the short forms where it's all algorithm, is a long form. But you can't do a long form for something like, oh, she's smoking weed, or it's like long forms are like copyright infringement. They stole your video. They did, But, I was thinking yesterday, this girl has had so much happen to her, right? And I understand that. I get it. But it's her mentality, her mindset that the world owes her. She will not let go or make changes in her life as if she's the only one in the whole world who's been through hardship, who's been through trauma. I'm not minimizing what she's been through, but damn it, at some point, you got to put a period at the end of it and move on. And get sick and tired of being angry and sick and tired of it. At some point, you got to say, you know what? You are not going to allow me to be like this the rest of my life because of your actions. And be proactive, take a stand, and finally say, you know what? You're not doing this to me anymore. Is she a merb? I wouldn't think so. Merb makes up crap. Letecia basically journals her life and is very truthful, in my opinion, is very truthful, which is getting her into hot water, right? We tell people, always tell the truth, tell the truth. Letecia tells the truth, but it's so outrageous. And borders, or not borders, is criminal when you start talking about these violent acts against people. It's like she puts everything out there what her brain is thinking. So I wouldn't say she's a merb seeking attention. I mean, she seeks attention. We all do to a point, but see, I don't think Letecia lies. Merb does. Merb does. Yeah, I think Letecia, all right, I take that back. I think she does trip up at times. But between her and Merb, you can catch right away. You can show receipts. You can show proof that Merb is an absolute liar. Letecia, sometimes, but the magnitude between both of them, Merb takes the cake. She takes the cake. Merb blames everybody else. Merb creates fake narratives, scenarios. Everything wrong that happens to Merb is our fault. Is our fault. But Letecia blames the world for everything, but Letecia has an agenda, and that's to get JW. She's very calculating on Phoenix, very calculating, and it's scary. And here we see the red flags. We see the red flags, and hopefully this time someone listened. See something, say something. Okay, we are. Do something now, as far as law enforcement. Do something, because the public at this point needs to be protected from her. Who just went live? Letecia? Then she hasn't been arrested. or she took off. What's her end game? Tonda, with Letecia, her goal is to keep the baby and for JW to marry her and provide for her and live happily ever after, because he's not. And I'll say it again, when she made that police report, she said that when she was assaulted, she said, her words, "I awoke with him asking me if I need a rag because he let go on her abdomen." That is when she said to the officer, and she said it on that phone call to him, the same thing. That's what I remember. She doesn't remember, she doesn't mention penetration. She mentions, what I remember is waking up and him saying, "Do you want a rag?" That next morning, she volunteered to have sex with him. But the accusation of him assaulting her the night before is an absolute lie, because even she said it. All I remember is waking up, he ejaculated on my stomach and offered me a rag. That's a false rape report. There's an active warrant. I've seen it. Okay, Ems, thank you. So she must be live in her car. All right. If someone wants to drop the link to her page, we can all go over there and watch it, and I'll come back later. She is saying she has freedom of speech to talk about JW. She's so messed up. There's a restraining order against her. She has no freedom to speak about him. Nor does she have the freedom to talk about mass shootings. Nor does she have the freedom to talk about the judge. I won't say his name, okay? Freedom of speech comes with boundaries. She's not so smart. Everyone just says, because, she says big words. And being an English major, she uses these big words, and they're so out of context. They are so out of context. It's like, you are so dumb, Letecia. There's no wrenches here. Okay, let it go. I just wrenched you up. Can you drop the link? Okay, Lollipop, I wrenched you too, honey. So if you guys can drop the link in case Let It Go is not here. So I think this is going to be the end of watching Letecia for a long time. But I do want to reassure you, she will have that baby in jail. They'll take her to the hospital. They will handcuff her to a birthing table. Okay, and there will be a correctional officer outside of her room 24 hours a day. She's not coming home or back to jail with that baby. That baby will be in the hands of the state. And there's a lot of wonderful, loving parents out there, or even single parents or single people who wish to adopt, who will adopt that baby. That baby will not go into the foster care system as Letecia thinks. Okay? Newborns, there are waiting lists for people to love and nurture a newborn. So I'm feeling pretty confident that that baby's going to be okay. Okay, so just go to love notes for TLC, FORTLC, Tender Loving Care. That's her channel. Okay, and I'll come back later. I've got to get it. Oh shoot, I got to get into the market and check Mama Bear channel for specific details on Benton County documentation. Will a family member step in? Oh, for the baby? No. They won't qualify. But her brother has, I think, a criminal record. The mother in no way can support that baby. No, there's just no way. They'll look into family members if they come forward, but knowing their history, no. Love notes for TLC, thank you. Here, Brian Michelle, I gave you a wrench if you want to drop the link. That baby will be better off with another family. And as an adoptee myself, please, that baby has a way better chance with another family. And these people who apply for adoption, their background checks, I mean, what home evals, what they have to go through to qualify to adopt a child is very, very extensive. So I'm pretty sure that any family that baby is adopted into is going to have a way better chance than staying with the family of Letecia. Some foster parents aren't the best either. Well, those are foster parents. So there's a difference. There's a difference. But the odds of that baby being in foster care long term, I was in foster care for 6 months until I was placed, only because my birth mother couldn't make up her mind. But most newborns are placed right from the hospital. That's how quick it happens. They call up the potential adoptive parent. They say they have a baby. Come and get your new baby. So it happens that quick. But these, like I said, these parents are already screened extensively. Thank you, Brent. Thank you so much. Okay, all right, so let's go over there and see what this train wreck is up to. And it might be the last video you'll see of her for a long time. For a long time, which I have no problem with. I'm so done with her. And again, I'm really confident that that baby will be okay. That baby will be placed with a loving family. And this is what needed to be done. And thank God. Tundra, that's okay. You don't have to go over there. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Soul says, look up a couple of comments above you, honey. That's Letecia. Love notes for TLC. Her bond just got revoked for violating a restraining order. She's a mess. She's pregnant. Long story. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming.